Yo there guys, this is Cobb and this video is the second in the series Defensive Cooldown Management, this time covering Unending Resolve. Unending Resolve is a 3-mana cooldown shield wall, granting 40% reduced damage as well as an aura mastery effect, meaning immunity to silence and interrupt effects for 8 seconds. Now, some key things to note about this ability are, just like Sacrificial Pact, it is best used when on high health to counter incoming damage before you get too low, and there is almost no point in using it while below 25%. It can be used offensively as well as defensively, and this is more valid when playing as the Destruction Spec, as we can make very good use of the Aura Mastery effect to land our Chaos Bolts as well as CC. Just like Sacrificial Pact, Unending Resolve is usable while stunned, but unlike Sac Pact, it is not usable while silenced, so be careful of that. And finally, Unending Resolve has a long-ass 3-minute cooldown, so in most arena games you'll only get one use out of it, so use it well. There's nothing worse than wasting this cooldown, especially its Destruction Spec. So when should you use Unending Resolve? Well, this is the question of destiny, as it's probably one of the most situational abilities in the game. It comes down to whether or not it is more important to play safe at the time and use the ability to survive a burst, or whether it's better to force a ton of enemy cooldowns while benefiting from the Aura Mastery effect. Let's look at a couple of defensive uses first. Now, you usually be using Unending Resolve defensively against Zerg comps, or basically melee cleaves that love to train warlocks into the ground, but it is important to save it until they pop offensive cooldowns, which they tend to do very early on. You can see here, this KFC is going to go ham on my ass while lining up some CC on Pingu. So, the moment I see Recklessness from the warrior, I'm going to hit Sac Pact and Unending Resolve before I drop any health, and it's going to absorb a ton of their damage here. Out of this, I'm going to have to use my heals, so Pingu can hold onto his tree form for as long as possible, and as a result, the KFC cooldowns don't get much done against us, and we're able to go really offensive and actually take a very early kill here. This example clip isn't against a melee cleave, but it's one of those situational moments where you notice the danger incoming. I can see they're lining up CC onto my healer here, so I know they want to land damage. As soon as this deep freeze lands on me, I'm going to hit Sac Pact and Unending Resolve while in this deep freeze. As a result, I completely soak up the Major Shatter and Frozen Orb, and the DK actually just swaps off of me right away. Out of this, you can see my entire team is unscathed by the enemy cooldowns, and again, we are good to go offensive. So that's basically how I like to use Unending Resolve defensively. I pop it to counter big enemy cooldowns, or when, your healer is just being CC'd out. Just make sure to use it early on and not at the last second. Now we can get onto the juicy bit, and that's using Unending Resolve offensively. But do note that this section applies slightly more to the Destruction Spec rather than Affliction or Demonology. In a nutshell, using an offensive Unending Resolve requires you to judge a situation well, and this gets easier and easier with experience and can be helped by using add-ons like Vile Cooldowns, which show me the cooldowns above my enemies' nameplates. The link to this add-on is in the description for anyone wanting to test it out. Generally, only pop Unending Resolve offensively if you are sure you can land a lot of damage while it's up, or land a key CC, or even both. The goal is either to actually take a kill, or at least force a lot of defensive cooldowns while you can't be silenced or interrupted. We're playing RLS in this game here, and the enemy Shaman has no trinket, so we're looking to swap and set up a kill on him. As soon as he's being locked down with stuns and silences by my rogue, I'm going to howl both of his DPS, but I know that both the mage and the priest have their trinkets ready to use. So once we go for the swap, I'm going to pop Unending Resolve to be certain that I can land big damage with my cooldowns up, because I am certain again that we can drop the enemy Shaman if I get the Chaos Bolts off. And it was actually just as well that I popped Unending Resolve here, because as I can see on Vile cooldowns, that mage did panic and blow his counterspell into the Aura Mastery effect. This game here took a little bit more awareness to know that it was a good time to pop Unending Resolve, so I'm going to freeze the frame right here and explain. First of all, I've just silenced the Paladin healer full, which is a great way to start off a CC chain. Next, I say that the Shaman has no Tremor Totem on cooldown with Vile cooldowns, so his Paladin won't have an easier way to escape my CC right now. Also, I notice that both the Shaman, who is my kill target here, and the Paladin healer are in the open, so won't be able to escape my line of sight. So I pop my Dark Soul and Unending Resolve as soon as I notice all of these things, and even though the Shaman does ground my first Chaos Bolt, I'm not only going to get a full fear on his paladin, but I'm also going to hit the shaman with a meaty Chaos Bolt right out of it. Now freezing the game for just a second again, we can see the shaman has popped his shamanistic rage and the paladin has been forced to trinket my fear. Out of this, my partners follow up with more CC and we actually get the paladin's bubble as well, just piling on the pressure now. Skipping to later in the game, the paladin flops here from a good swap from my rogue, and this just wouldn't have been possible if I hadn't spotted that I could force a huge amount of pressure by using my unending resolve to free cast earlier in the game. Now before we end this quick video, here is how not to use unending resolve. In this game I'm way too eager to land big damage, and as soon as I land a fear on the enemy druid healer, I'm gonna pop Unending Resolve and Dark Soul, and as you can see it was immensely stupid as the mage was in a position to just blink away and avoid me for the entire duration of my Aura Mastery. Now this clip is just horrible. I play like a turnip here and just pop it when we didn't even have this hunter locked down, so he just line of sights me and owns me big time by just planting a trap on my demonic circle too, so I can't even chase him properly. Anyway, I hope this guide helps some of you guys out and lets you know some of the do's and don'ts when it comes to getting the most out of your Unending Resolve ability. Thanks for watching. If you missed my Sacrificial Pact guide, you'll find a link below in the description. So for now, stay awesome everyone, and I'll catch you in the next video.